Hello, fellow stampers. I'm Yana Smakula. In this video, I will show you how to quickly stamp colorful birthday cards using the My Favorite Things Pumped Up Alphabet set. Get your stamps and inks ready, and let's start stamping. I have a piece of white cardstock. This is cut to 4 by 5 1/4 inches, and this is Nina Solar White paper. This will make the front of my card. I'm using washi tape to temporarily adhere this panel onto my grid mat, as this will help me better plan and position my stamping. Now, I want to stamp Happy Birthday on this card, and I have already picked the colors of ink that I want to work with. I'm starting with the letter H, and this will be stamped in yellow. Now, I don't want to stamp the letters in just one solid ink color. I want there to be a little bit of color variation. So I picked 2 ink pads for each ink color. Here I have a light yellow and a dark yellow to stamp the letter H. I'm first going to ink up the entire letter with the light yellow ink. Next, I'm adding dark yellow ink onto the bottom half of the letter. Bring my stamp back to the light yellow ink pad and gently tapping on the stamp on the light ink pad to help the 2 ink colors blend and avoid having a harsh line on the stamped image. And now I'm stamping the letter onto the paper. I'm going to repeat this one more time and stamp the same letter over to have a more saturated result on my paper. And look how easy that was and how great this looks. Now I also want to stamp the last letter in the first row, letter Y. I'm spelling happy in the top row, and Y is also going to be stamped in the same color of ink. So again, just to show you this one more time, I'm first inking the entire letter using light color of ink. Next, I'm inking the bottom half of the letter with a dark color of ink. Then bringing the letter back to the light yellow ink pad and gently tapping to help blend the 2 colors together. Then I'm stamping the Y on the panel. Let's double stamp this, and voila, looks great, I think. With the first and the last letter stamped, I can now add the rest of the letters to fill in the gap and spell happy. I'm inking the letter A with a light and dark pink ink. I'm following the same process, inking the entire letter with light ink, inking the bottom part of the letter with the dark ink, bringing it back to the light ink pad and gently tapping to blend the 2 colors and then stamping on the panel. Easy peasy, yet the results are super fun. You can also use your ombre ink pads, if you have ombre ink in your stash, to stamp these balloon letters. But I know not everyone has them, so I specifically wanted to show you how to get this ombre look to your stamped balloons using regular ink pads that you probably already have in your stash. Now, this is dye ink, by the way. It is translucent, meaning if I overlap another ink color over it, you'll be able to see both. For example, I have teal overlapping pink, and it makes purple where the P and the A overlap. And also teal overlapping yellow, and they make green where the P and the Y meet. I'm using 3 colors of ink here: yellow, pink, and aqua. By changing the colors and perhaps skipping pink, you can turn this into a masculine card or a gender-neutral card easily. I have also found that it is easier to stamp the letters using a clear block. You'll notice that I'm not using a MFT stamping tool here. While I do double and even triple stamp some of the letters to have better impressions, I still find it easier to do so using a clear block. The process goes a little bit faster, and I have a bit more control over how I ink up the letters with my ink pads. Overall, it takes about 10-15 minutes to stamp one panel, which is really not that long, especially if you're looking to make a bunch of cards at once. Now, because I have my panel taped to the grid mat, I have the grid behind the panel to help me stamp the letters in the center of the panel and make sure that everything is well positioned on the card. With the letters stamped, I have my happy birthday sentiment completed. Now, the stamp set that I'm using today, the Pumped Up Alphabet, also has several string images to stamp the balloon strings for your card. I'm using 2 different strings and stamping them in light gray ink, as this creates the illusion that the balloons are all floating in the air. Now, I wanted to add a sub-sentiment to this card, and I stamped one that reads, "Not older, just better." This sentiment comes from the Bitty Birthday Wishes stamp set from My Favorite Things. I stamped it in clear embossing ink on black cardstock and covered the stamping with white embossing powder and then heat set it with my heat tool to melt the powder in place. The black sentiment strip will provide a nice contrast to the colorful letter background on this card. I'm using my pencil eraser to get rid of the anti-static powder that I first applied to the paper to make sure that my embossing would be nice and neat. And then I'm using scissors to cut the strip to size. Now, before I can adhere this strip to the card, I want to dress up the letters a bit first. I foam mounted the panel onto an A2 white side-folding card base, and next I'm using my Nuvo Aqua Shimmer pen to add shimmer to each of the letters. I want the letters to sparkle, and using a pen like this is one of the best ways to add sparkle to your card. Next, I'm coating every other letter with a generous amount of glossy finish. This will make my letters dimensional and will provide a really fun tactile finish to the card. It's important to be very careful and go slow when adding the glossy finish so you don't mess anything up. And trust me, I've done that several times in the past. I set my first panel aside to dry. I made sure to wait for about 3 to 4 hours at least. And while the panel was drying, I worked on a few other panels as I really was on a roll and wanted to stamp a bunch of cards like this. Here I stamped one that reads Birthday Wish, and now I'm foam mounting a sub-sentiment that reads For the Birthday Girl. I'm also adding a bunch of silver jewels to the card to help it sparkle and make it really festive. I feel like this Pumped Up Alphabet stamp set goes really well with that Bitty Birthday Wishes stamp set with the skinny strip sentiments. You can use the skinny strip sentiments and then stamp a big bold sentiment using the Pumped Up Alphabet set and have really fun custom birthday cards. And not just birthday cards. Like I said, you can stamp any sentiments you want. Here's another one I stamped that reads Time to Celebrate. And the sub-sentiment reads, Yay, it's your birthday. And now we're back to my main panel. It is almost dry. I added the heat embossed sub-sentiment, and now I'm adding the pretty silver jewels to dress this card up. I'm using my crystal katana tool and just adhering every little jewel in place using glue. I had a blast stamping these birthday cards using the My Favorite Things Pumped Up Alphabet set. It's very easy to use, and this set allows you to make custom messages for any occasion. Here's a look at all of the cards I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video and will give this idea a try. If you do, please share online and tag us on social media. We always love seeing what you guys are making. Subscribe now and do hit that bell icon not to miss any new card making tutorials. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. I'll see you next time.